Do, 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 do. Make sure where I actually saved. We're going back to court. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we finally... Yeah! Oh. I remember now. Sorry, it's been a while since I've recorded. Went through a particularly rough, work period here. Hey. What's up? Is something wrong? No, not at all. Yeah, why would anything be wrong? It seemed we both silently agreed not to acknowledge what had happened. Oh, well, that was probably making things worse in hindsight. I see. Are you okay? It's just a lot to take in. I guess that one simple accident would turn into some gigantic conspiracy. I think Justin was the mist-weaving phantom the entire time. You know about the story? Well, I've picked up some bits and pieces from the residents here and there. It's clearly a dark time for the city, the sounds of it. What more reason to be grateful for your acquittal? Are you sure you're not getting ahead of yourself? I don't think so. We have proof that Justin destroyed the guardrail using his magic ring. It had nothing to do with what happened. It was really just an accident in every sense. I have to admit that I shared some of Draken's uneasiness. The Inquisition and the Kingsguard were moving frantically when we left the tavern this morning. I'm sure they had something to do with the stolen cargo, but something seemed off about their movements. I feel like they were mobilizing for more than just a retrieval. Yeah, before we get our little, wholesomely intimate nighttime, clearing the air with Celeste and Tyrion, we had, Arya and Orwin, dealing with, very concerning cargo found in Tyrion's old home. I suppose it didn't matter either way. No matter what they had in store, I would acquit Draken. That might not be the problem here. It is now resumed with the trial of Stefanik Draken. During our last proceedings, the defense argued that the victim's death was a result of murder, not simple negligence. This was supported by a witness who claimed to have seen a spell cast on the victim before his death. Your Honor, over the last day we investigated the crime further and new facts have come to light. Nevertheless, I maintain that my client is not to blame for Justin's death. Smack. Unfortunately, the blame lies with Justin himself. Is that so? Well, we're opening with it. Alright. Let's see what Arya has to present. Your Honor, the victim was wearing a magical ring that allowed him to cast conjuration magic. It seems that he entered the refinery in order to steal business documents from my client, and the ring was meant to aid in that. After he had stolen the documents, he activated the ring on the refinery catwalk. Malfunctioned in some way, causing an explosion of spatial energy. That energy is what broke apart the guardrail. Are you trying to say that the victim was the culprit behind the most recent string of robberies? Fortunately, I am, Your Honor. Yeah, what are you cooking? Because you've been hard at work here. Is that it, Mr. Cuthbert? What are you talking about, Steelwind? Obvious that my client didn't have any hand in Justin's death. And do you have any evidence on that? Mosorica Tudor saw a magical effect blast the guardrail apart. Alright. We've been over this. Miss Tudor had every reason to lie in her testimony last session. Smack. She didn't know about Justin's ring. How would she have known to lie about something like that? You're assuming that she didn't know about it beforehand. The two of them were known friends. It's not implausible that he showed it to her. What about the Crown Prince? He saw the magical effect as well. For obvious reasons, the Crown Prince can't be called to testify in a case of this magnitude. As far as the courts are concerned, you can't use his testimony as evidence. She's being unreasonably obtuse, even more so than usual. What was she doing? The subject of the victim, we've also discovered new facts regarding his actions that morning. The prosecution would like to call Lucio Steelwind to the stand. The Grand General? As many of you know, a serial robber stole cargo from an Imperial ship on the morning of the accident. We've since located the cargo. What we found paints quite the picture of the victim's intentions that day. Interesting. I see. Bailiff, please escort the Grand General to the stand. Okay, I guess I'll just say it. Witness, please state your name and... Are you really going to waste my time with that? We all know who I am. Look, Enough. I'm giving my testimony now. Well, alright. Justin Ray has been committing a string of robberies in Orlax Harbor, the last of which included an Imperial shipment of high-capacity energy cells. Ray was working with insurrectionists who provided him with an advanced magical ring. He used that ring during his robberies. One of the ring's functions allowed him to teleport himself. The other allowed him to summon an item to him. Ray had taken the stolen energy cells and placed a bomb within them. He was going to summon it into the refinery and detonate it. So why is Dracogen accused of anything here? What? There was a bomb inside that thing? That would explain why Arya was kind of losing her shit. Father, the Scaled Lord, why would you say that? What are you on about? Gave the testimony as you asked. Yes, but I thought you had enough sense to leave certain details out of it. What details? Insurrectionists were planning to bomb the industrial district? How could a conqueror brazenly rob an Imperial ship? Is the kingdom really so powerless? Ooh. That boy was a thief and a terrorist. He deserved what happened to him. Oh boy. Those details. They really were planning to use those energy cells to make a bomb. I don't think Justin would agree to do something like this. He worked with the people there. Who would have anything to gain from doing something like this? Was Lucio trying to manufacture a catastrophe so that he could march his soldiers into Aranax? No, I need to think through this rationally. Both of the Steelwinds have been acting strangely lately. There was something else happening here. I guess it didn't matter. He gave the testimony as she asked. It's unreasonably reasonable of him? Hold it. I've learned that Justin was quite skilled at breaking into secure places. I never imagined he'd be able to break into an Imperial ship without being caught. He shouldn't have. The men stationed there were negligent. At least that's the most generous interpretation of what happened. Generous? Hold it. Do you have any proof to substantiate that claim? What other explanation is there? Well, you might want to stage a catastrophe in the heart of Von Sanctus' territory. I would let you march your soldiers right into the land of one of your rivals. Just to name one possible explanation. Mr. Cuthbert! Prosecution does not refute the defense's statement. Prosecution also does not conclude the victim were a part of any insurrectionist group. Do know that he was very keen on investigating something going on with these insurrectionist nonsense. And at the very least, he was not actively, like, just dragging them off to death camps. If memory serves, he did admit to us that he was, like, he could still very well be lying. If memory serves, he did very much give off of a, because the part of the crimes that he was very aware of were the insurrectionists, the people speaking out against the crown, having evidence of insurrection planted in their houses by the thief, just out of the blue, and then having someone call the cops on them so they get arrested for treason. So, not only was he aware of this, he was actively, like, trying to get them out of town. And not, like, dragging them off to death camps to be slaughtered. Whatnot. He might still have good intentions here. Teleport himself, summon an item to him. Hold it. He summoned any item he wanted. You need to affix a specific kind of energy crystal to the object you wanted to summon. We found such a crystal attached to the metal chest containing the bomb. There's no doubt that the ring was set to summon that chest. How could you be so sure? The ring was too damaged by the vat chemicals to identify that, but the crystal is what he is. Luckily, the crystal attached to the bomb was not. There we go. We were able to verify its connection to the ring, however disrupted it was. It was clear that he meant to summon that chest into the refinery. Curious. It's only out of sheer luck that he died before that could happen. I'm still theorizing that he backed out of the last step of this. Tried to leave with the ring, and then got knocked into the vat and died. Hold up. Why are you so sure that he was planning to target the refinery? He could have been planning to rob my client and place the bomb somewhere else. In refineries such as your clients create volatile yet controlled chemical reactions. So, let me revisit this, Arya. What does Dracogen have to gain from bombing his own refinery? This high-capacity energy, unless you're saying that Dracogen sabotaged, killed him to stop this. Those high-capacity energy cells alone had enough of an explosive yield to level a city block. Detonated near the refinery, the ensuing explosion would have been exponentially larger. That's terrifying! From the way the bomb was constructed, it seemed like it was meant to be as destructive as possible. Just in a way it could have transported that bomb to his position at any moment. I find it difficult to believe that he'd risk bringing the bomb into the refinery if that wasn't his intention. Fucked up. Is Justin really planning to blow up the refinery? I don't know, and it's not as if he can tell us. Still, Lucio's making a lot of assumptions about what happened. Yeah, guess he's the type of person to jump to conclusions. Could be wrong about a lot of things. Conjuration magic all over it. Arcane crystals. Dangerous and attuned to evocation magic. Working with insurrectionists, but
Objection!
false. Go on over. The witness testimony is contradictory. Proves it. Oh. Insurrectionists.
Objection!
False. Going to be working with insurrectionists. Here's the container dented. Conjuration, teleport. Hmm. Cat. Hmm.
Objection!
No? Okay. We need to debate this a little further. Let's actually consider... Never get the chance to summon that container. There are traces of conjuration magic all over my house. Okay. That was actually... pretty good. So I had the chance to sit back and think about it. Grand General, the ring allowed the victim to teleport himself and summon objects to him. Both those magical effects belong to the school of conjuration magic? Yes, they both involve instantaneous spatial movement. Afraid you were wrong about what Justin did today. He did summon the bomb to the refinery then. Oh dear, or at least he attempted to. What are you talking about? The bomb was found at that old abandoned house. You were the one who alerted us to that. Maybe, but we identified that there were traces of conjuration magic on that box. Justin's ring was damaged in the accident. It couldn't have been activated at any point after he died. Must have attempted to summon the bomb that morning.
Objection!
Justin could have simply summoned the box to the abandoned house before he planted it at the refinery. A witness who can confirm that the metal chest has been in the abandoned house since the night before the accident. It must have been teleported in preparation for the bombing. No one knew about that house other than the victim and a fellow and a few delinquents, Steelwind. They wouldn't carelessly move around a dangerous bomb without a good reason. If it had been summoned, why was it in the abandoned house instead of the refinery? And the teleportation spell failed. Or the ring... died. Teleportation spell... failed? So he died, the teleportation spell failed. And there's a point. I'm stuck on the... oh, summoning spell failed. What if... alright, how do we phrase this? Yeah, ring was activated, the summoning spell failed. There we go. Okay. That's the right wording. Because the summoning spell ultimately failed. I tried to summon that large chest on the catwalk, but there wasn't enough room. The spell failed and the resulting spatial shunting damaged the chest and blew apart the guardrail. You've contradicted yourself, Mr. Cuthbert. How's that? Your entire defense is based on the testimony of Mosorica Tudor. I'm looking for him and spotted him on the catwalk. He looked like he was talking to someone. But I saw a flash of magical light. Justin got blasted with the spell. Broke the guardrail he was leaning on, and he fell into that vat of chemicals. Alright, and? She thought the victim had been blasted with a spell. What you're saying is true. That would imply that Justin summoned the chest right onto his location. It's possible that most of the giver is mistaken about that one detail. I think we should trust Aster's. I think we can trust... I mean, you won't let us summon the Crown Prince, so it is based on her testimony, which is incomplete. Because Crown Prince's testimony is more detailed and more meaningful to us in this context. But you won't let us use him. Your entire case is predicated on her testimony. And you don't have confidence in her testimony. I don't think you have much of a case. Let's assume that Justin did summon the chest at its location. It also contradicts Miss Tudor's testimony. Summoning the chest at his position wouldn't have just inflicted damage on the guardrail, and to summon that large container would have inflicted damage on him as well. You could argue that the spatial shunting was ultimately what pushed the victim off the catwalk. But in our last session, you were adamant that the victim fell in after the rail was destroyed. You did say that, but also ignoring the fact that Mr. Wade had been using that ring for several months. He's a master thief and had been expertly using that ring to escape the sites of his robberies. You would know the dangers of spatial shunting. She was actually making a lot of great points. They didn't seem to contradict anything we'd learned so far. She seemed so sure of what she saw. The Crown Prince even confirmed it. Told us. Both even mentioned a prism-shaped flash of light when the guardrail broke. We had to have seen Justin attempt to summon that metal container. What was going on? I needed to think this through rationally and review everything. Facts laid out. There had to be an explanation that was consistent with all of them. Difficult to get into Justin's headspace before the accident happened. He'd know one thing. He used the device when he wasn't supposed to. He didn't disappear like he usually did. Instead, there was an explosion of energy. I was almost caught by it. I barely escaped the blast. Wait, he tried to teleport while he was on the catwalk? According to Queen, he activated the ring on the catwalk. She seemed to think that he was trying to teleport, but for what happened afterwards, he had probably activated the summoning spell. Queen destroyed evidence and terrorism.
What if? Maybe.
Well, evidence and evidence. They were both true. Steven, the ring must have been designed to activate the teleportation and the summoning spell at the same time. Justin wasn't affected by the spatial shunting because he was being teleported elsewhere. It's an awfully large leap in logic. I doubt you have anything substantiated. You said it yourself, didn't you? Kinda weird, honestly. Artificery filtered into the rings usually only has one function. Why is that? Like spells cast by a mage, artificery needs to differentiate which spells to cast. Usually devices with multiple spells will have some kind of switch or multiple buttons. There was no need for the ring to differentiate between which spell to cast. Both spells were linked to each other, and they were being activated at the same time. It would explain Miss Tudor's testimony. When the summoning spell failed, his teleportation must have failed as well. He tried to catch himself on the guardrail that had been there moments ago. It had been destroyed by the failed summoning. He fell right into the vat. If your theory is true, why would he try to plant the bomb on the catwalk? That would have been the worst place to put it. She'd have a point there. Justin had been using the ring to teleport during his thefts. He should have known about spatial shunting. Unless the teleportation part he didn't know about. It's obvious that the large metal container wouldn't fit on the catwalk. Draken's office was close by, too. Once to plant the bomb, a closed room would have been far better. Why would he activate the ring when he should have known it would fail? Knowledge of the summoning spell. He didn't know! What? He didn't know that the ring would summon the bomb to his position. It's ridiculous. How could he possibly not know? He'd been using that ring in his robberies for months. Someone else gave him that ring, Grand General. They could have only told him about the teleportation function, not the summoning function. For whatever reason, he decided to teleport while he was on the catwalk. He even said that he activated it when he wasn't supposed to. It's implied that he was expected to activate the ring somewhere else. Draken's office? Someone had really wanted to plant an explosive in the refinery. The best place would have been my client's office. Whoever gave Justin that ring expected him to activate the ring while he was in there. Would have teleported away. None the wiser to the fact that he was switching places with the bomb. Again, he's been using that ring for months, and it's difficult to believe the ring would have a summon function if its only purpose was to summon the bomb. You're right. He must have been summoning something else to each of the places he was robbing. He realized it.
What if?
Yeah, Lucio spotted it. He was planting false evidence of treason. What? At some of the crime scenes, the City Watch found chests containing weapons, explosives, and illegal communications. Victims were never the ones who reported the robberies. It was always someone else. First I thought the serial robber was trying to reveal dissonance, but the opposite was true. Whoever was behind this was using Justin to frame people for treason. And they were targeting members of the workers' unions. Grand General, you knew something was strange, didn't you? That's why you took the victims in protective custody instead of charging them with treason. Answer to you, boy. It might as well have been an admission. Either way, it seemed like I finally found a proper motive. Someone was paying Justin to plant false evidence on members of the workers' unions. The person was also filing false reports to make it sound like there were tensions between them and Dracogen. Is the bomb also a part of this plot? They're trying to raise tensions further by causing a catastrophe. Who would benefit from something like that? It couldn't have been Lucio. If it were, he would have simply charged the union members with treason. Von Sanctus doesn't make any sense either. He might have had something to gain from demonizing the workers' unions. He's the one who would have had the most to lose from that bomb destroying his land. Sybil? I know that much about her personality. But personally, all I knew was that her noble house controlled the judicial and legislative branches. Did she have something to gain from orchestrating this? No matter who it was, I still don't have any evidence connecting them to the robberies. That's why they had Justin do their dirty work. They did everything that they could to cover up their involvement. The only connection I had was... The mastermind behind this obviously never considered that someone could talk to her. According to her, they were also able to talk to her like I could. I doubted that the judge would suspend this trial, so I could try catching a wandering cat. There'd be something that we could tell me who was working for her. It's leather strap. Justin dropped it before it fell into the vat, and the Crown Prince mentioned that Justin grabbed the animal before he fell. He just simply followed the plan. Instead, he tried to betray me at the last moment. He tried to pull me in with him. Luckily, the only thing harmed was my neckband. Justin grabbed the Queen before he activated the ring. Just had ripped a collar that was around her neck. The strap had the numerals VI on it. Round 2? So I thought, but there was something else I found that changed the meaning of that engraving. Put these two together. This strap of letter had Edda engraved up into it. They were two halves of a whole. Two leather straps. Yep, there we go. Oh, it looks to be a pet collar. One piece is engraved with the letters V. The other piece is engraved with Edda. We heard the name Violetta. I believe we have. Neither of those spelled Queen, but it's possible she responded to a different name. I've heard a name like that somewhere before. It happened at Von Sanctus's house. Was it Astor or Von Sanctus himself? It? So it was Astor, wasn't it? Alright, we meet it. You? Why don't indulge him, Lloyd? He seems harmless. Call him. Anyways, you're waiting for Violetta to return, aren't you? Von Sanctus was waiting for Violetta. Could it be the name engraved on her collar? How could he know? How could he even be involved in this? I mean, he wouldn't be insane enough to blow up his own city over his feud with Draken. No, there's got to be something more to this. There's only one way to find out. Your Honor, if there's only one person who can truly tell us the true state of insurrection in Ornax, and that's its ruling lord, Lloyd Von Sanctus. Lloyd, are you joking? Something wrong, Grand General? Nothing. Waiting for the bailiff, the Grand General marched away from the stand and took a seat in the gallery. Oh, hi. Thank you for taking the stand today, Your Grace. I don't see why I have to take the stand. Surely the reports from the City Watch should be enough. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't expect you to know much about what goes on in your land. You little brat. What Mr. Cuthbert means to say is that you are able to provide a more valuable perspective as the city's ruling lord. I'm sure you can understand seeing how confusing these reports of insurrection have been. Very well. I'll tell you exactly what the state of insurrection is in my city. My city watch has been hard at work apprehending these insurrectionists. We've been doing so with no collateral damage. They've been growing in number, however, no doubt because these unions have been feeling these people's discontent. But I understand they were even planning to plant a bomb in the refinery. Thank the scared Lord nobody was hurt. Things have been getting worse and worse, and the stew-winds have only been feeding the flames. Well, that's a unnecessary low blow. He's obviously wrong. That someone is trying to frame the unions. Yeah, but we don't have any hard evidence to prove it yet. Till we can do that, it's our word against his. Lucky his words will give me exactly what I need. Hold it. Your City Watch. They are my men. They only succeed under my leadership. Clearly. If someone like you can't appreciate what I do for the people, I should be commended for what I'm doing. I've peacefully coordinated the arrests of countless dangerous individuals. I've done so without any bloodshed. It's more than I can say for some of the other noble houses. He's obviously just stroking his ego, but I couldn't discount the fact that Ornax City Watch technically answered to him. That would have definitely made these frame jobs easier if he were involved. Hold it. By feeding discontent, do you mean they were advocating for basic human rights? I'm not in the mood to have this argument with you again, boy. You seem to like evidence so much, so here you have it. Ever since those unions popped up, the number of people being charged with treason has also risen. All of those suspects were known members of the various workers' unions. Yeah, I wonder why. Say what you want. Your ridiculous conspiracy theories have no place here. You would see about that. I'm sure it's a big relief for you, Von Sanctus. You seem to have gotten into your head that I was somehow involved in that plot. But what would I have to gain with something like this? I may not own many of the businesses in Ornax's industrial district, but it's still my land. I would have the most to lose from orchestrating a catastrophe like this. There was still the one element that didn't make sense to me, and he knew that. Was he truly not involved? Was there some other reward he would reap from the destruction of the industrial district? I won't deny that, at least in regards to the Grand General. I doubt that someone of your standing would honestly care. I resent that remark, boy. You may think you can fool the gallery, but I know your real opinions. If it weren't for the workers' unions encroaching on your businesses, I bet you wouldn't give a damn about these tensions. Distance affects far more than just the carpenters, boy. There's vast implications on every aspect of trade throughout the city. Assuming such distance actually exists. I've seen it, and I have the trade records to prove it. This so-called misdreaving phantom stole several weapons and other dangerous items. I had to massively restrict all potentially dangerous items coming into the harbor. An absolute headache for our military as well. Hold it. At the end of the day, it's all about how it affects trade. You may not understand. Those shipments were integral to upgrading and maintaining our military. Military owned by your enemies. My house may have a rivalry with the steel winds, but our national defense is integral to rival God's survival. Lord Von Sanctus, watch your words. You're blind to it, but the other nations will strike us the moment we show any weakness.
Objection!
Oh, wreck his ass. Von Sanctus, that's enough. I do not need you to stroke panic in the public with inflammatory words. I'm afraid I must agree, Lord Von Sanctus. I don't believe this is relevant to your testimony. Very well. Just pulling his testimony right out of his shut your mouth. But I'm just talking about Von Sanctus. We can dig him. I know, but the only piece of evidence that contradicted our testimonies from Draken and Mr. Morrison would be his word against theirs, and it's obvious who the courts will side with. It's bound to slip up eventually. But if you keep him talking, you catch him in a lie. So we kept him talking, and he gave us a new statement. What can we do with this? Massively be strange. We tried this and the arcane crystals.
Objection!
False. I wish there was more. I love little present flavor conversations we get, but I do wish there was more wrong evidence objections.
Objection!
That's just me being silly and selfish. I love silly flavor dialogue. Von Sanctus, why did you agree to testify today? Why? You wished me to testify on the state of insurrection in Oranax, did you not? I was merely doing my civic duty. I think you took the stand for another reason. To reclaim control of the narrative, right in front of the people in the gallery. Think what you will. This is just baseless slander. I must agree, Mr. Cuthbert. To refrain from insulting the current witness, he took the stand at your request. I guess I can't disagree with that, Your Honor, but the witness made one mistake. He lied in order to protect. Very serious. Perpetuates that narrative. Yet with baseless accusations? Von Sanctus, you testified that you had to restrict all dangerous items coming into Oranax. But you were the one who ordered those high-capacity energy cells from the Crown Prince. The same energy cells were used to construct the bomb Justin was supposed to plant at the refinery. How do you know about that? They don't leave your manor much, do you? I looked at the statements from the Crown Prince about that shipment. You were the one that found the bomb before it could be set off. What? Oh dear, why wasn't I informed of this? It wasn't directly relevant to your case. Smug. I have no doubt that you were restricting trade in an attempt to pretend you were doing something about the thefts and insurrectionists. You should have ordered those cells of the Crown Prince knowing it would be difficult for anyone to give his testimony. Luckily, I have a way with people. More like Astor is just a giant fanboy. Astor is just a giant awkward softie. Regardless, one fact is clear. Back. We didn't just restrict all the items coming into Oranax. We also ignored those restrictions to ship dangerous materials used to construct the bomb. Oh. So that's your game. Indeed, you didn't bring me on the stage to testify. What possibly leads you to believe that I was involved with that thief? Well, Violetta seems to be very involved with him. I knew it. How'd you even... He looked nervously around the room before catching himself. What is it then? You're going to call my cat on the stand to testify? No, I think he'll do just fine. You little brat. Fine. You want my testimony? I'll tell you exactly what's wrong with your foolish theory. Violetta is your cat? Oh, hello. Uber Allegro. Panic Allegro. I've said time and time again, what would I have to gain from blowing up my own land? I would have destroyed countless factories and refineries. Hundreds of lives would have been lost. Imagine what that would do to my standing. I'd render me completely powerless. My city would have been left defenseless. I'd just be leaving my land wide open for Lucio to march in and maintain order. And there was his final defense, the one argument I didn't have a counter for. Saying makes a lot of sense. I know. still don't understand why he would be involved in something like this. He'd be petty, but he wouldn't have lasted long at the nobility if he were a complete moron. He wouldn't have done this just to spite Dracogen or the humans. It'd be something else he was trying to accomplish. It could be worth attacking his land. No matter what he got from it, it couldn't be worth giving up power to Lucio. Something else had to have been happening here. Bomb was in the crystals. Was the bomb rigged to blow up? God, the panic energy in this. Something to the bronze and exotic jewels. Hold it. I must agree with Lord Van Sanctus, Mr. Cuthbert. I don't see the reason to entertain this. If Mr. Cuthbert wants to waste the court's time with this line of questioning, I believe we should let him get it out of his system. It was strange about that tone of her voice. Like she was overplaying how she usually spoke during our trials. Was she covering for me? Hold it. Seeing as how these facilities are no longer owned by you, I don't imagine you seeing that as a loss. Please, I know you wish to paint me as a monster, as you do with every other noble that crosses your path. Do you honestly think I'd sacrifice so many lives without a good reason? Which implies that there is a reason you might make such a sacrifice. That's... Stop myself again before drawing in a slow breath. I am not some bloodthirsty maniac. I'm going to pursue the nobles with real blood in their hands. Perhaps you should lurk toward the Grand General. Witness, may I remind you that my father is sitting in the gallery? Duke practically choked on his own words as his head whipped him over to look at the Grand General. He stammered for a bit before he continued. Well, anyways... Are you really telling us the truth? As the Duke of Commerce, I'm sure your holdings extend beyond the city of Ornax. Ornax is our main trading hub with the other nations. Even if I don't personally own most of the facilities in the city, our entire trade network is built upon them. Without the facilities, supply lines would crumble and nationwide manufacturing would grind to a halt. These were all really good points, which raised the question as to why he thought this was worth it. Was he really willing to sacrifice global trade, or did he have something else in mind to stop that from happening? Would that really happen? Something of your someone of your status. Surely you have your own armed forces. I have access to some armed guards, perhaps. They exist to carry out the law and protect the city from bandits and thieves. The kingdom would never trust such a small force to protect this key city like Ornax, especially after an accidental insurrection. What was his plan then? Was he trying to set the Guard General up with a massacre? Or should he have some way to maintain order without the need for Lucio's intervention? It was the last piece I needed to establish his motive. Unsartus, can you add what you just said to your testimony? Whatever. You're the Duke of Commerce. Your gold could buy a lot of things, armed forces included. Yes, but it can't buy trust or loyalty. You would never buy and be hiring mercenaries to protect the city. Not when we have our own military to do so. Perhaps the kingdom would be persuaded otherwise, considering the news surrounding the Grand General's actions in the countryside. Maybe, but they would never allow me to hire mercenaries based in a town filled with hidden insurrectionists. We'd risk conceding more ground to anyone trying to stage a revolution. And everything he was saying was true. There had to be a way he was planning to work around that. It really doesn't make any sense. He clearly thought this through. He wasn't just being reckless. He's making a lot of good points, which means that the real reason has to be something that would circumvent them somehow. It would have ruined industry in Ornax, and he would have invited the Grand General into his territory. Let's try a way to mitigate both of those hits to his power. The gain would have been worth that. Help me. Help me. Let me think about this for a bit. The only thing I really have right now is the unknown. Do I have to say this? Getting the power. What? Hello? House von Sanctus commands the entirety of our kingdom's industrial output. It directs the flow of trade throughout the kingdom. Every cog in the machinery of commerce, from the extraction of raw materials to the construction of finished products, was my concern. Of course, one could not expect a workforce of commoners to operate as a perfect unit. People made mistakes, got injured, people got sick, sometimes people even died. That were the flaws of man. There's no way around it. At least that's what I'd always thought. You see, Arcaris is the nation south of Rivendell. It's a small nation, dwarfed by the juggernaut that was our marvelous kingdom. They were protected by the Ordo Australis, a peacekeeping organization that had every other nation in the world under its thumb. They were quite useful allies, and one could purchase raw materials and products from them on the cheap. Huh. I've been curious about how they could turn a profit while charging so low. I decided to travel there myself. I wanted to see what their secret was. What I saw shook me more than anything else I'd ever seen. Well, oh boy. It was beautiful. It was perfect. I saw legions of workers, obedient beasts of burden. Every hand knew its task, every foot knew where to stand, every minute was measured. Advisors always stood watch over them, a noble lord overlooking their kingdom. They never needed to barrack orders. They simply needed to remind everyone that there was always something watching, someone watching. Arcavus was small, but its population was dense. I drove by large stone buildings that towered over anything I'd witnessed in Rivendell. People were packed next to each other. There was only enough room for them to breathe. There would never be enough for everyone. That just kept people hungry. It was only later that I realized that this was part of the glorious design. Jobs were always available, and they were also sold to the lowest bidder. Work under the strain could easily be thrown away and replaced. There was always someone else waiting, eager to take what they had. It was a grand symphony of efficiency. It was a marvelous machine that was never stopped. That moment when I witnessed divinity itself, I knew that this was the future of industry. Huh. No, this was the future of humanity itself. Nothing I'd built in Rivendell could even compare to the utopia they'd created there. Ah yes, that looks very utopian. I spoke with their leaders. They told me about their plans. They told me about the arcane constructs, mindless machines that did everything they were told. They'd done the impossible. They'd improved upon perfection. They no longer needed the commoners in order to thrive. I would be the master of my own universe.
Objection!
You really are a fool, aren't you, Von Sanctus? Why? Because you still believe I destroyed my city just to spite your client. No, it seems your plan was far more insidious than that. I've thought it over, and there's really no other explanation. You were really planning to do it, weren't you? You were planning to defend the city using a legion of arcane constructs. What? Oh, did we just read that from his mind? Arcane constructs? Are you referring to those suits of armor at the Imperial Academy? That's correct, Your Honor. A shipping report proving that the witness received a large shipment of arcane constructs recently. And according to the harbor master, you've been receiving shipments like that for the last few months. So what if I have? I don't. His hand whipped around the room. First to the gallery, then to the Grand General himself. Lucio quietly narrowed his eyes at him. Unsanctus practically flinched at his glare. You filthy little upstart! Your Grace. So it is true, then. His teeth were so clenched that they might shatter. His breath was practically oozing the vitriol that he wanted to throw at me. You are not going to be the one who undoes me. Not you. One time someone taught you your place, you little rat. Ready when you are, Von Sanctus? Showdown time. Come and lose another match. You think I was planning to use those constructs for combat? I was merely, I was planning to use those constructs to work in my factories. Yes, that's it. Constructs for labor. How can we really prove that? It's a difficult one because how do we really disprove that? Other than the fact that the bomb would have. And the fact that this would have blown up majority of the factories in the area. No, it may have been true that he was planning to use contracts for labor after the catastrophe. His plan to do that was based on one large assumption. Mac, you don't own any of the factories or refineries in Oranax's industrial district, Von Sanctus. What job could you have possibly had them fill? They've other cities in which I do business. And why would you import and keep them in Oranax? I have no doubt that you plan to use those constructs as part of a labor force. But you'll be able to do that after your bomb destroyed the factories that were already there. Right. It's a pretty good plan, Von Sanctus. I'm a little surprised you came up with it. You would stage an attack on your city, use your legion of constructs to restore order, and then use them as a labor force to rebuild the damage. Selling your constructs nationwide would have been easy after a demonstration like that. More than that, wasn't it, Lloyd? Oh, yeah, hi. Constructs follow orders. They're not vulnerable to the disorganization and chaos of living soldiers. You'd be less likely to commit the atrocities my father has been allowing to happen in the countryside. With recent news, you had the perfect opportunity to use those constructs to encroach on the Steelwind's domain. That's preposterous. Completely and utterly preposterous. There is no conspiracy. These insurrectionists are real. Huh. I'm proof to you that I was working with that boy anyway. Everything he's been doing has had nothing to do with me. The family was involved, alright. Pillar family was involved. Part of this ring, Von Sanctus, it was a crucial tool in many of Justin's robberies. What about it? Can't tie that ring to me. It was fitted with artificery that was a lot more advanced than what's available to the public. Only a Pillar family would have access to something like that. That's a... Actually, that's conjecture at best. Maybe, but it still points to the fact that someone of higher status was involved in this. It's a conclusion that makes sense, but he was working with insurrectionists. Resistants are crafty, and they are all over Wyvern-Guard. That boy was one of them. He was working hand in hand with them. Lol. I would support that. I think Justin did contradict what Von Sanctus was saying. Alright, round 2. Right. Alright, the ring. Something Justin did. Didn't take the gold. Justin was truly working with these insurrectionists, then why did he rob so many of them? Well, not only did he rob them of all their possessions, his robberies revealed them to the authorities. You seriously think he'd do that to the very people he was working with? Then, he must have betrayed them. It was a massive debt, wasn't he? Must have been become desperate and took whatever he could to pay those off. How do you know about Justin Way's debts? I really inferred it. Common for peasants to overextend themselves financially. Right. I don't have to prove anything to you. That boy was desperate, and both of us know it. False and false. It's a thieving rat. He had loyalty to no one. Betray anyone to pay off his debts. Didn't steal the gold inside the safe. Except there was one person he clearly didn't betray, Von Sanctus. When he entered my client's office, he successfully broke into his safe. He had every opportunity to take the gold there, but he chose not to. He's got a crisis of conscience, so what? You're trying to paint Justin Way as some kind of heartless criminal who supported the insurrectionists. However, that's completely contradicted by his own actions. He had no idea about the fact that he was planting evidence of insurrection within the homes of his targets. He had no idea that he would be planting a bomb at the refinery using your ring. He had no idea that the person telling him to do these things was you, Lord Von Sanctus. His eyes nervously shot around the courtroom. He looked like an animal. The eye was on him. He denied everything, but his nervous indignation had betrayed what he'd done. There's no evidence, Mr. Cuthbert. What? No evidence that actually proves he was involved in this. You only have the ring. That won't be concrete enough. That's right. There's no evidence tying me to that boy. Steelwind, what are you doing? You can't indict someone with this little evidence, especially not a duke. If I were to bring this to trial, he would never hold. Huh, you're completely right. You don't have any evidence against me. Everyone here knew he did it. It's written all over his face a moment ago. He was going to blow up half of my city just so we could sell some constructs. Countless lives would have been lost. After all that, was he seriously going to get away with this? There had to be something There's always something. Always leaves something behind. I was careful about this. Keep his distance from Justin and use the letter to deliver his communications. The reason that I found out was because of my ability to talk to animals. It's not as if I could prove that either. Only one more move I had left. Ah, glaring like that is unbecoming of you, boy. Again.
Naught can remain concealed.
Maybe something he left behind, some sort of mistake he made. I was really careful about this. I had to hold out hope that he slipped up somehow. I didn't prove that I was communicating with that boy. No, make sure that all my communications were delivered through send message. Oh, hello. Caster projects their voice to communicate with the target, and within a 30-feet radius of the target, you can hear the caster's voice. Oh, the caster can also hear sounds close to the target, like two-way communication. Target must be a person known to the caster. The person must also be conscious, otherwise the spell will fail. Target be an object that is attuned to the caster's magic. Conjuration? Or abjuration? Never actually met that boy in person, I just used Violetta to see him. Said message wouldn't leave any evidence. It's also a conjuration spell. Those traces were already on Justin because of the ring. Sanctus planned this. I use the ring anyway. No, the ring may be advanced, but it can't be tied to me. Wished it anonymously, and the artificer that made it has already returned to Arcane. If they did know who it was, they would never have enough time or evidence to extract him here. He had the ring manufactured in a way that could be tied to him. How long had he been planning this? Luckily for me, the container was already abandoned on the beach. Cast magic through the letter to transport the container to the house. When that boy placed the crystals inside the chest, it be let to move the bomb into place. Of course, that bomb was constructed personally. Made sure to only use materials that the boy stole. Anyone else would look like he constructed the bomb. It just didn't do everything. He even placed the bomb himself. Just teleported it into the house using Violetta somehow. The chest was already covered in traces of conjuration magic. I was careful about this. We accounted for everything. You can ruminate all you want. There's nothing you can do. Face it, boy, you've lost. Was it naive enough to think I'd be able to win every case? Never mentioned that I'd imagined that I'd lose one as important as this. Going to lose, though? The source of my power is the everlasting support of the Dracogen Trading Company. They're pretty small. They're only operating in Arnax right now. Either they're planning to expand their operations throughout Wyverngard. Miss Tudor, I understand that you run a cafe in the food district. This cafe would not exist without the generous patronage of the defendant. You must feel quite indebted to him. After all, he saved you from the kind of life you lived before. No, I didn't trust it at first, but Dracogen's idea really took off. Finally having a say in things. Great for the workers in this city. Wait, the workers' unions were Stefanik Dracogen's idea? No, I've seen how this kingdom treats those at the bottom of society. Those without are treated like tools, worked by their employers until they break and need to be replaced. A simple thing, really. And you keep your employees happy, perform better, and that pays itself forward. I created the first workers' unions with Noah to allow workers to better advocate for themselves. Glad to see it's set a precedent for the employees of other companies to do the same. Dracogen was doing a lot of good and setting an example for others to follow. The entire reason why I took this case was to defend him. Somehow I'd lost sight of that. Tell me, Von Sanctus, you truly believe that Justin Way's death was my client's fault? Well, it certainly wasn't my fault. That wasn't what I asked. Do you believe that the guardrail broke because of my client's negligence or because of Justin's ring? Oh. Okay, I like this turn. He stayed silent for a while. It was obvious because of Dracogen's negligence. After all, there's no proof that Justin attempted to activate that ring. What about the traces of conjuration magic on the container? Any number of conjuration spells could have been cast on it. And the rail-shaped indents on the container. Coincidence. The container could have come from anywhere. Look, unless you can prove that the container was in the refinery, you have no case. Get physical piece of evidence, alright. In the refinery. Only for a moment. Physical evidence. Oh! Doesn't grab Violetta's collar shortly before he activated the ring. On half of this collar lodged in the container, just drop the other half before he fell into the vat. Do you recognize this collar, Von Sanctus? It's Violetta's collar. I was wondering where it had disappeared to. Violetta? It's the name of the Duke's cat, Your Honor. And what? You think you can implicate me just because my cat was at the scene of the accident? I'm more interested in where both halves of these collar were found. Halves? This collar is really unique. It has a name engraved into this leather, which raises one question. How was one half of this collar dropped by Justin, while the other half was found lodged in the chest containing the bomb? What? As you very well know, Justin activated the ring, but the spell failed to fully switch his position with the bombs. Before he did that, he grabbed Violetta's collar. Not sure what exactly happened, but the failed teleportation must have split this collar in half. One half remained in Justin's grasp, the other half was lodged into the chest that briefly appeared. This proves one indisputable fact. Justin did activate the ring, causing the metal's container to briefly appear on the guardrail and break it apart. The death of Justin Wayne was not a result of my client's negligence. So what? It doesn't prove my involvement in anything that happened, but I don't need to prove it. I'm not here to prove it. It doesn't matter. My job is and always has been to defend and acquit Dracogen from your false charges. I may not be able to win this time, but neither will you. Despite your best efforts, my client will continue to operate in Oranax. That said, I'll settle for a stalemate. Smart. It's wild that this is a unique outcome in a Phoenix Wright-style case, but I dig it. That's good. Does the prosecution have any rebuttals to the defense's claim? We do not. And the court sees no reason to prolong this trial any further. How? You truly are a rat, scrounging at whatever scraps you can scrape together. My client is safe now, that's all that matters. Is the illusion contagious or something, or are you just trying to cope with your loss? I've seen how much Oranax has changed because of his actions. There's significance to that. What you've seen is our society take one small step towards anarchy. No matter, he's just one man. It won't be long before he's forgotten. I exhaled deeply, the weight of this trial finally off my shoulders. Every case I defended, this was easily the most stressful one. I didn't know if I could consider this a victory. Who could believe I just let Von Sanctus get away like this? Was there anything I could have done differently? Hey, don't look like that. You wanted to bring the Duke to justice, but you did a good thing today. No, what I really wanted was revenge. Don't be like that. You did a good thing. Dracogen can continue operating at Oranax, and Rika gets to keep her cafe. For now, Von Sanctus isn't gonna take this lying down. He's bound to try something else once the publicity dies down. And I wouldn't be so sure of that. Dracogen may be acquitted in the eyes of the justice system, but the court of public opinion is a different thing entirely. Everyone saw I was acting. May not have proved it with legal sense. It was obvious to everyone what done. I'm sure word will spread. Is that really enough, though? He should be locked up after what he tried to do. I mean, opening the eyes of the public to what the rich class has been doing, how little the rich class truly thinks of them, is a win in its own right. We need more of that in our country. We desperately need more of that. Feels like it's slowly happening, but not happening nearly fast enough, and there's still a really painful growing class of people who can't get out of that bubble. We're still so deep in that bubble it hurts. Anyways, I don't disagree with you. There's something to be said about where his true power lies. I'm talking about his position. His position, but his image. People like Lloyd thrive on making the common folk feel powerless. He needs people to believe that there's nothing they can do in the face of his influence. Today he revealed Lloyd for what he truly is, a weak and desperate fool, blinded by greed. His allies will keep at a distance and his enemies will jump at this opportunity. His days are numbered. There is some truth to his words. Skeeter Steelwind? It seems that my father had some suspicions about what was happening. Even he never considered Von Sanctus to be the mastermind behind this. It's really unlike him. We all underestimated what he was capable of. You were trying to help me catch him, weren't you? That's why you kept drawing out the trial. I obviously can't confirm or deny that. I did think that if anyone could reveal his crimes, it would be you, Mr. Cuthbert. Perhaps I was being too hopeful. Don't sell yourself short. I said there's value in how you appear to the public as well. And stand your ground against the nobility. Good chance to duke this time around. Well, I've seen it throughout the kingdom. Lit a flame in those who might have lost hope. Really wouldn't go that far. Don't underestimate the light of inspiration. May start with a single ember. It can spread to all those that are willing to accept it within themselves. No one can stop a flame like that once it starts. Not you, not me, not even the king himself. That's why I started the workers' unions. To show people that our society could become something better. Giving some degree of power and support and means to grow to the commoners. It was definitely hopeful. And after everything that had happened, I could use a bit more hope. Just need to keep doing what I was doing. Future would show how true Dracogen's words were. I still felt uneasy. Even if Von Sanctus would lose power, a cornered animal was the most dangerous one. You filthy rat! I will have words with you. Oh, speak of the devil. Hey, back off. It's fine. I can handle him, Celeste. So, what's so important, Your Grace? There's no arcane spell in the world that can intercept the communication between a mage and their familiar. What did you do to Violetta? Familiar? Coy with me, boy. I saw you. I saw you speaking with her. That is not any of your concern, Lloyd. Lucio! I suggest you stop harassing Mr. Cuthbert, lest you be suspected of coercion. That's what that was. He's one of yours. This isn't over, Lucio. This is far from over. Commerce let them huff, grumbling to himself. I narrowed my eyes at the Grand General. The first time he wasn't surrounded by his knights. He was speaking about familial bond. What? Whatever animal you spoke with was Lloyd Von Sanctus' familiar. Whoa! Unbreakable bond with a target creature until either target dies. This bond exists. The caster can telepathically communicate with the target over any distance. The caster can also choose to see through the target's eyes as long as they concentrate. Any spells that affect the caster will also affect the target creature and vice versa. That's how you were speaking with Violetta. Just an arcane spell. It just raised another question. How'd you know that I spoke with his familiar? An educated guess. You can speak to all animals, can you not? I blinked at him. What is the theocracy planning here? The theocracy? Talk about the kingdom west of us? Don't play games with me, I'm no fool. I'm not! I have no idea what you're talking about! And why are you able to use Luminian magic? What? You possess the Eye of Radiance, the ability to read the minds of others. I eyed him warily. You seem to know more about the Eye of Horus than I did. Like I said before, I've read the transcripts of your past cases. What you did to me during the first session all but proved it. The Theocracy of Lumina was a nation west of us and Wyvern most hated enemy. I didn't know much about them. Even information about them was heavily controlled by the kingdom. I'm not an agent of the Theocracy, Lucia. Perhaps. Perhaps not. So what? You can have me executed for treason? Considering what's been happening lately, I doubt that would be a good look for you. Just the opposite. You are now going to be my agent. What? There will come a day when I will require your skills and abilities. The Eye of Radiance is too powerful a weapon for me to squander. I imagine it will be of great use to me. And if I refuse, then I will treat you just like any other foreign agent. Okay, not an ally. Be ready. I imagine the day I call upon you will come sooner rather than later. Celeste rushed over to me as soon as the Grand General left. You okay? Yeah. I'm fine. He didn't hurt you, did he? What did he say? Think he's forcing me to work for him? What? You about the Eye of Horus, supposedly related to the theocracy. Wyvern greatest rivals. From what I'd learned in the last few months, I figured that there must exist other types of magic. I never considered that there might be an entire nation of people with abilities like mine. But I couldn't find any information about the Eye of Horus. Wyvern heavily curated any information about Lumina. I guess it doesn't matter. It's a problem for later. I'll talk to Ari about this. She might be able to help. Wish I had to a tavern. You want to come with? No. I'm going to go see Rika. She want to know about what happened. Alright. Don't cause too much trouble for her. She's dealing with a lot. Hey, I never cause trouble. Of course. I've come to the side of coercion, but the Grand General did give me another lead on the Eye of Horus. I need to talk to Mr. Moore about this. Might be able to dig up more information about the theocracy and its magic. Your Grace, you have a visitor. I thought I told you I wanted to be left alone. What idiot? Lloyd. Oh, how's Frege? William, absolute moron. It's not what it looks like. They couldn't even prove anything. Doesn't matter. Even a child could have told that you were guilty. We needed those constructs to cripple Lucio's hold on the military. Now those bloody things are attached to your accursed name. So, that's right, they were kind of doing something to kind of usurp Lucio's power. Do you have any idea how difficult it will be to sell those things to the House of Lords now? Enough. Your house will soon be in shambles. Plan will at least allow us to salvage what's left. Salvage? Oh? It's all a bit anticlimactic, isn't it? Hello? What is it, What is, Father? I was really counting on all hell breaking loose in this city. Either old Lloyd would succeed, or Lucio would suss him out and take his head in a bloody spectacle. Ruby's kid really pulls through to a fault, doesn't he? Everything ended too peacefully. He does tend to do that, doesn't he? Don't even have Justin to show for all our trouble. Oh, the Eye Taker! What? You're the guy who Justin worked for. Who Justin met in prison. I was really betting on him entering the fold with us. It's a pity. He was taken from us too soon. Don't worry. We still have Frege on our side. You have Frege on your side? Wait. That Frege? Yeah, we'll just have to put the final piece on her. What? What did that mean? Hello? We walked into the cafe again. It was coming after the lunch rush. There weren't that many people there. I thought her talking to one of her employees. Check the inventory and tell me if you're running low on anything. Or what is scrambling around like last week. Tyrion! Everyone's talking about what happened. It seems the Duke of Commerce was no match for the Light-Sworn Monarch. What's that look for? You did win, didn't you? It's a bit more complicated than that. Scout Lord! No. Are they all we are to people like him? So many people could have gotten hurt. They're pretty close to the industrial district. I could have been caught in that explosion. I can't imagine what would have happened if Justin had never decided to rebel against Von Sanctus. Did he really do that, though? What? Do you really think he was rebelling against the Duke? He just decided to teleport on that catwalk instead of the office. Thought you believed in him more than anyone else. Did, but did I really know anything about him? It was different after he served his sentence. Not worse, just different. Never knew he had debts to a criminal overlord. I knew what actually happened to him in the dungeons over those years. He never wanted to talk about it. I'd read a lot of stories about what happened in the dungeons throughout Wyvern. Couldn't imagine what he must have gone through in there. It's my fault he went through that. I should have never let him take the fall for me. I'd say that. I made his own decision. The decision was to protect you. Don't know. He never used to take gold in Dracogen's safe, but he left it there. He didn't know what those documents were used for. He knew that taking the gold would harm Dracogen. He left it. Despite everything he was doing, he still held gratitude and respect toward Dracogen. Does it make sense when you put it that way? Thanks. I know it's been a while, but if you ever need to talk, I'm here. And another chapter in my life as an attorney. I always swore that I'd never return to Arcane. Past buried. And back here was exactly what I needed to start burying what happened all those years ago. Once he still felt an indignant fury toward the Duke. I didn't think I could ever forget what he had planned for this city. I wasn't alone anymore. I had Miss Tamora. I had Celeste. I had my friends in Armax. Perhaps more friends than you ever expected, Tyrion. I didn't need to carry all this by myself. That moment, thinking back to the night Celeste comforted me, I realized something. I think I have feelings for... Oh! What? Stood up from my seat, my eyes wide in terror. The migraine returned with a vengeance. Oh no! Scout Lord! I think I have feelings for Celeste! Oh, shit! That's great, Tyrion! Is that great? Is that good? I don't actually know what the deal is between you two. You're my coworker, Rika. Yeah, but you're obviously more than that. You're friends, at least. I never even considered romantic relations until now. A lot of time together, anyway. What would even change if we went down that route? I consider romantic relationships to fill emotional needs and engage in intimacy, both of which would enrich the lives of both parties. But the intimacy was very distracting. I need to focus on something else. Rika, what do I do? Tyrion, I've known her for 3 days. Do they need to give me more to work with? Well, this all started a few months ago. At a tavern, she introduced herself with a joke about masturbation. What? It made more sense the way she said it. Okay, let's just start with something simple.